Today is the first pullback on Bitcoin since we really started eclipsing all-time highs and hitting those $120,000 levels, currently sitting at about 117K on the Bitcoin price. There's still a lot of opportunities out there in altcoins, and there are a select few of altcoins that are doing very well in this market. But in this video, I want to go over how you can start making money in DeFi summer, because right now there are multiple platforms that are just going live, and the opportunity that it presents yourself in this market is early yields when there's less liquidity in these platforms, which could mean APRs of 50, 80, 100% or more if you are early in these protocols. And the two I'm going to go over with my strategies in this video have literally just launched, and some of them aren't even generating rewards yet. So you are still very early, and I think one of these ecosystems could be farmed very hard for a huge future airdrop. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Before we dive into all of the alpha across the market, be sure, if you enjoy the content, drop down below, leave a like on this video. It really helps get this video in front of more crypto bulls just like yourself, so we can all win in this bull market. As well, subscribe to the channel for more every single day and every week here on In the Game, as we have you covered from all of the top niches in crypto. And of course, a big shout out to our sponsors here on the channel. We have 𝗲𝗏𝗏, 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏, as well as 𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏 Labs. You can check all those out down below in the description. But let's just go ahead today and dive right into it. Like I said, we were up about 10-11% on Bitcoin on the weekly, and just today we have taken a 2% tumble, which sounds very minor, but what this can do to certain altcoins, it can put altcoins down 10% if it just goes down 2% on Bitcoin. As we all know, the altcoin market is super volatile, and it is just funny to see the reactions across the industry. Like, we look at crypto Twitter, and this is so true. The sentiment that I see off of such a small dip, we're still sitting at 117K. It's also crypto week. The legislation, literally Washington, D.C., they're coming out with new crypto legislation like this week, a lot of bills to be approved, etc. And then we see on crypto Twitter, the sentiment is just so absurd. Like, we're bull posting all the way up during this run, like alt season's coming, people say, and this, but please give me a pullback. I can't believe I overcomplicated things. I knew we were gonna rip higher. Just give me one more chance. Market pulls back. LOL, that might be the top. Like, I don't think that was the top whatsoever. We've talked about a lot of metrics on this show. The amount of institutions, the amount of capital coming into Bitcoin. It's the fastest growing ETF in history. It's the 5th largest asset in the entire world at this point in time. But more importantly, retail's not even here. We're looking at Bitcoin search trends as low as the last bull market. There's so many triggers that show me that Bitcoin is going so much higher from here. So if you think that 122 or whatever was the top, I think that that would be wrong. Maybe we do consolidate around these levels, but honestly, hovering around these prices is actually really good for altcoins. There could be more liquidity funneling between altcoins if Bitcoin just kind of stays at these $117,000, $120,000 levels at this point in time. And as we all know, Bitcoin as an asset has so much use case as a form of fighting inflation. We see the GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen says Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation and global money printing as well. There is some short interest in the market right now, and also there was some long interest from one of the traders who has been a great counter signal, and that is James Nguyen. He was long this morning with a mark. His entry price was about 117,000, so he went in for 172 Bitcoin. Of course, he changed his name to King of Perps. I don't necessarily think that he's the king of perps after losing $100 million in public. However, we'll go forward and we'll roll with it, right? But at the end of the day, if we actually look at the altcoin market right now, there are a couple of coins that are winning massively despite a Bitcoin dip, which is a great sign of things to come. And we've been telling you guys to filter into quality altcoins. Like, I think it's gone are the days that we're holding 50 coins that could just be completely speculative. You should be in this market dialed in on strength. Number one, we see Pengu up 20%. Right now, this is my top meme coin play in the entire market. I think Pengu has so much upside from here. We're looking at Pump Fund recovering off of its launch yesterday, which is now almost at $6 billion. So a 50% win if you got in on the pre-sale. Moving on down the line here, we see my favorite and I think the market's favorite AI altcoin, 𝗵𝗃𝗫𝗫, up another 7% today and up 35% on the week. This thing's sitting at $434. We were giving you guys buys on this at $275. We were DCAing all the way up to $325, and I still think that $1,000 is very realistic for 𝗬 come this bull run as well. Another winner, despite the market dipping a little bit, is 𝗬𝗍𝗍. 𝗬𝗍 sitting up 38%. These are literally our top conviction coins. If you've been watching the channel for the last few months, you know it's Hyperliquid, 𝗬𝗍𝗍, 𝗬. I love Pengu. I also am just really consolidated on my bets. I want strength plays and I don't want anything else clogging up that top of the funnel of my portfolio. So let me know if you guys are in on any of these, 𝗬𝗍𝗍, 𝗬, which coin is performing the best for you. I would love to know in the comment section down below. But in this video, we're more so going to be diving into DeFi summer. And I alluded to this yesterday, but DeFi always heats up when the market gets really hot, a little bit frothy, liquidity's flying around, and people are wanting to see number go up. And there's really no better niche in crypto that gives you the number go up euphoria in your chest and your loins than DeFi. So before we jump into this though, if you need a place to trade, I wouldn't recommend trading like James Wynn. However, if you need a place to actually win in your trades, I would highly recommend two locations. Number one, 𝗶𝗆𝗏. Their trading competition did end today, but there is a big sign up bonus on the line right now down below on 𝗶𝗆𝗏. Centralized, no KYC, tons of different things, copy trading, spot buys, futures. You can do it all on 𝗶𝗆𝗏 down below in the description, and you can get an immediate sign up bonus based on how much you deposit. And of course, my platform, Nexus, we have perps available on over 300 pairs of crypto, but also on top of that, we have the stock market here for you to trade on Nexus. We are decentralized, instantaneous deposits and withdrawals. It counts towards your Hyperliquid volume for a future airdrop. So lots of good things here to be had on Nexus. You can check out Nexus and 𝗶𝗆𝗏 down below in the description. And now let's jump into the protocols that I am alluding to for the meat of this video. So for me, we're not going to waste any time. There are two protocols that I am farming very hard. And I'm not talking even about future airdrop farming. I'm talking about right now. There's tons of liquidity flowing into these platforms, but there's a lot of high percentage yields to be had. So in these two ecosystems, first of all, I think there's crazy upside. One of them has a potential future token. One has a token launching literally 5 hours or 6 hours from whenever I'm recording this as well. They're on two chains that I think you need exposure to, and two of my most bullish thesis altcoins for this cycle. So without further ado, let's jump into it. And if you're looking at these charts, the reason I have 𝗪𝗏𝗍𝗍 pulled up is first and foremost, DeFi never dies, but it always heats up when the market is hot, as I mentioned. And the two chains, I feel like 2 Chainz the rapper, whenever I say the 2 Chainz, yeah, for 2 Chainz fans, you'll know what I'm talking about, but I had to do it. Hyperliquid and Avalanche, number 9 and 10 as far as TVL, as far as active addresses, etc. It is, one of the more under-farmed ecosystems, both of them, Hyperliquid and Avalanche. So whenever I'm looking at these, the opportunity is massive. And of course, when we look at the market cap of these two altcoins, they are two top protocols. We see Avalanche at 2170. I think that's a great buy long-term, and a way to get exposure to the ecosystem is one of the plays that I'm going to talk about. And then also Hyperliquid, which is up 23% on the weekly. Obviously, the strongest altcoin in the entire market. Like, this is the best performer, and I think it will continue to be the best performer because the thesis behind Hyperliquid just makes too much sense. But one thing, we're going to start with Hyperliquid here. The protocol that launched yesterday gives you a great opportunity if you have not hopped over to the Hyper EVM chain. So I understand if you trade on Hyperliquid and you have funds on Hyperliquid, you actually technically are not farming the Hyper EVM side of the future airdrop, which is speculated from Hyperliquid. And the future airdrop, we've talked about a full tutorial here, bridging over, making sure you have money on Hyper EVM, do some liquidity swaps, do some DEX swaps, whatever the case is. Well, this platform we're about to talk about here gives you really good exposure to that narrative. And the project I'm alluding to here is projectx. So as you can see here, this is a DeFi swap type of protocol, but it gives you everything you need in one go to really be able to qualify for the future Hyperliquid airdrop. But more importantly, make gains right now. When you look at here, over the last 24 hours, now this project was started by 𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗪. He put together Pac-Moon whenever Blast was really hot. It was super successful until Blast went under. It really wasn't the project's fault at that point in time. But looking here at some of these APRs, and it's not like they have little liquidity. Like, you can farm Hype and USDT and you can get 250% APR right now because this platform is early. This launched literally about 24 hours ago. They have a great referral program as well, but the referrals stack up to your points, and then you earn a future point system for potentially a future airdrop. I would not be, honestly, I would probably bet money that this will have a token in the future, just given the team's history as well as the way the project's structured with the point system. The more that you farm, you're accumulating all of this stuff. You get points, bonuses. It all alludes to a future airdrop. But most importantly for me, there's a couple pools here that I've actually gone pretty heavy in that I think could be just no doubt winners. And the reason I'm going to say that is DeFi provides a lot of risks in certain aspects. This is not picking on the platform. This is just picking on DeFi in general. So LP pairs, let's say you have Hype and 𝗪, okay? The risk of pairing, whenever you do these LPs, you put 50% of Hype and 50% of 𝗪. So if you want to do $1,000, you're putting $500 of each token. But if one of them goes up too quickly or one of them goes down too quickly, it rebalances the amount of tokens that you have. So at any given time, if Hype goes up too fast or if 𝗪 goes up too fast, whatever the case is, and your conviction bets, it could actually swap you out into more or less tokens on either side of that barbell. So for me, what I've learned over the course of time in DeFi, I want exposure to pools where I'm bullish on both assets, where they're on both sides. If I earn more Hype, I'm happy. And if I earn more of the other side, let's just say the next protocol we're talking about is on Avalanche. If I earn more AVAX, I'm super happy with that. So for me, my thesis and the way that I've structured my DeFi stuff and my DeFi portfolio in these liquidity pools specifically is I'm going to barbell it with two assets that I am super bullish on and that regardless, I want more of. So if I do get rebalanced, it's like, okay, whatever. Like, I only put a portion of that asset in there. Never full stack your whole Hyperliquid into some of these pools. I think that would be ridiculous. But what I've done here is I've looked at this and said, okay, I have a Hyperliquid stack in my portfolio. I'm going to take a percentage of that and I'm going to roll it in here because I think I want to farm that Hyper EVM side of the airdrop to its best of its ability. But also, you can literally go down here to the Hype and Bitcoin pool. There's over $1.5 million in this pool. It is not a low liquidity pool, which is also good. Like, you don't want to be going into pools that have like $5,000 in them or something like that. On this platform, there's, I think the lowest that I've seen here is $7,000, and it only has 8%. Like, that makes no sense. For the Hype and BTC pool, which it just disappeared. Here we go. Hype and BTC. For this pool, it has 1.5 million. The fees are generating pretty nicely. And on top of that, the 24-hour volume in this pair is over 2 million. So what I'm doing is I'm sticking a piece of my LP in here. So 154.48% APR, which is absolutely insane for something like this whenever it comes to Bitcoin and Hyperliquid. So if Bitcoin goes up too fast and Hyperliquid stays, it'll rebalance me into Hype, and that's fine. Or vice versa. If Hyperliquid keeps running, it'll rebalance me into Bitcoin. I'm okay with that completely. So it's a win-win on the fact that I want as much exposure to potentially Bitcoin and Hyperliquid as humanly possible. So this pool is where I've really stacked all my liquidity on this platform, and it is one of the first times on Hyperliquid that I've seen an opportunity over 100% with Bitcoin and Hyperliquid involved. So for me, I have gone in on this pool specifically. Now, I hope that every one of you doesn't do this. However, I do think it's the strongest pool on the platform because of the fact that both assets are literally like liquid gold this cycle. One of them literally is the digital gold, and one of them is the turnkey revenue generating exchange of the cycle. So for me, that is the best place to put your money on the Project X platform. And also, the ways to make your points go up. You want to have exposure to these pools. So 𝗪𝗛𝗪, who does a lot of farming on these platforms, he posted that he's bridging ETH into Hype, and then he's doing different pools on the platform, and that's going to maximize your points. And if you want, you can check out down below. I'll leave a referral link to get involved with this platform. Look, you don't have to use it. If you don't want to use it, that's fine. Just go over to Project X. Their website is projx.com. So I will leave a link down below in the description if you want to farm this on the Hyperliquid side. I just think the Hype and Bitcoin pool there is risk regardless. Like, obviously, and this is never financial advice, you know, the whole spiel, but at the same time, it's one of the lower risk pools that I could see across DeFi at this point in time. When you're pairing up Hype and Bitcoin, you really can't go wrong if any rebalancing does take place. And moving on to really what is the main character of DeFi right now. And it has some main characters involved behind it. That is Ellio Trades and Alex Becker, Superverse, and that is Blackhole. So Blackhole is the upcoming DEX and DeFi platform on the Avalanche network, and everyone's talking about it. I think AVAX DeFi is about to heat up quite a lot whenever the first epoch does hit. And as AVAX tweets here themselves, super attractive and hard to escape. Blackhole's shaking hands AVAX. So I personally have allocated pretty heavily into this. First of all, as far as the airdrop goes, it's going out to communities like Imposters, Neo-Tokyo, Superverse stakers specifically, and then a bunch of DeFi protocols, Beefy, Yak, Aerodrome, Curve, etc., which makes sense. It's projects that Ellio and Alex have their hands in, you know, Imposters, Neo-Tokyo, Superverse, etc. But then on top of that, it's a bunch of DeFi protocols. So they're trying to incentivize people who have participated in DeFi or, of course, in their own projects over the course of time. So for me, I assume my airdrop will be pretty decent. I have participated in a lot of those platforms, and especially in some of the ones I still have some liquidity into. But on top of that, Neo-Tokyo, and I have a Superverse bag staked, as we've told you guys to do for quite some time. So I hope you are well positioned for the Blackhole airdrop. But if you're not, there is a way to still earn black tokens, and that is simply by coming over to the platform and making sure you're allocated. And in this video here, Ellio makes a great point, and I said this also earlier, that initial moment, the 0 to 1 moment, whenever a DeFi platform actually goes live, that's the biggest opportunity for you to be able to earn the most money in that time period. So when I'm looking at the opportunities on Blackhole, there's a couple things you can do. There's a DEX functionality. You can track your portfolio inside of Blackhole, where your money's staked, how much it's making you, etc. Liquidity, locks, votes, incentivize, Genesis pool, and bridge. For you guys, I don't think you should worry about anything from locks over until Blackhole goes live. And I will let you guys know tomorrow on video what I am doing with my Blackhole airdrop. Am I locking? Am I burning? Am I incentivizing? What am I going to do in the app with my tokens? That is undecided. But when we move over to the liquidity pools here, there's actually some pretty good options. And some of them, like I said, on the other side of the platform with the Project X on Hyperliquid, you're able to pair up with Bitcoin here, which I just absolutely love. First of all, the lowest risk on this platform would just be USDT, USDC. So your stable coins are paired up. They're not going to depeg each other unless there was a literal crisis or if 𝗕𝗏𝗪𝗏 actually came to materialize over the first 15 years of crypto. It hasn't, but at the same time, you never know. But that would be the safest bet, is just pairing up USDT, USDC. But I don't think the yield there is going to be quite like some of these other pools. When I'm looking at these pools, first of all, I went pretty heavy into Bitcoin AVAX. Same exact reason. Like, I can have Bitcoin, I can have Avalanche. If it rebalances me super hard, I earn more AVAX or I earn more Bitcoin. No problem at all. But if you want to get a little more degen and you want to filter by the fees here and see, okay, which are going to potentially bring me the most, upside as far as yield goes, I think, if you want to do just AVAX and USDC, that's fine, but you're going to lose AVAX every time this thing bounces, which I don't really think is the way to go. If I was to go risk on here, I would actually
probably go with my gaming tokens, which sounds crazy, but because number one, the volume and the TVL on them is much lower than some of these main ones like, you know, AVAX USDC, Bitcoin US or Bitcoin AVAX, etc. But if you look at the ones like KET, if you look at the ones like 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏, which is the Mythical Games token, if you look at the ones like Gunzilla, I actually think there's enough liquidity to consider it pretty safe as far as your risk, but also there's going to be enough APR, which is not live yet. So the big thing here is no rewards have been paid out. So you are very early on this platform. The first epoch is coming up, you know, over the next day or two. So this is going to be the 0 to 1 moment that Ellio alludes to in the marketing of this project, that, you know, whenever you get involved early, you will have the highest rewards. So for me personally, I would either look, and here's one that's interesting, 𝗪𝗵𝗹𝗶 and Bitcoin.B. I'll actually be watching this pool because there's only $800 in this pool, but that's a pretty good, if you can just have some Bitcoin, sit it in here, I will definitely watch that and see if this one grows. But for me, when I filter the TVL, the one that I'm heaviest on in this platform is BTC and AVAX. I will say that I have a bag of Gunzilla, I have a bag of a couple smaller gaming projects, and I've just went ahead and staked those in here. I have a Meow bag, of course, the Wilder World meme coin that they recently launched on Avalanche. I do have a little bit of stakes here. So I've taken some existing tokens and paired them up with AVAX, because if they rebalance, they're like gaming coins and meme coins. If I lose some of those to Avalanche, that's fine. But for me, I would really only go heavy into those Bitcoin AVAX and Bitcoin Hyperliquid pairs on these two platforms, because that is about as safe of a bet as you could potentially make on these platforms. And look, you're super early. This is a 24-hour-old platform here with Project X, and then also Blackhole literally has not dished out a single cent of rewards yet. So you have a really good position here. And if these two platforms continue to catch fire, and specifically if Blackhole catches fire, number one, we could finally see the red coin behind me start to move, which is Avalanche. But number two, this could really spark interest into the broader DeFi market, stuff like 𝗕𝗓𝗏, stuff like 𝗕𝗏𝗡, and we'll have to see as well when the Blackhole token launches what valuation it's at. I will absolutely be tweeting about that tonight whenever it goes live. I hope that you guys are positioned for an airdrop here, but all of these pools, so if you don't have an airdrop positioning, every one of these pools will be paying out in Blackhole tokens. So there's plenty of ways to have exposure to this project. And you know Ellio and Becker are going to be pushing this thing like crazy. The Avalanche Foundation is pushing it like crazy. I think it has a high upside potential for those who get tokens and potentially don't paper hand them at the very beginning of this launch. So that's what I'm doing between these two protocols. And I think over the course of the summer and the bull run, there's going to be a lot of DeFi opportunities. If I'm going to get involved with a DeFi play, however, I want big names behind it and I want a track record behind it. And both of these projects have founders that have reputations and also can't mess up those reputations at this point in time. But more importantly, have communities behind them. Like with 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏, who's a creator and a founder, you know, 28 million in TVL over 24 hours is a pretty impressive feat. I mean, it hit that before Blackhole did. Blackhole, I don't think is even at 20, they could be at 20 million at this point, but it is pretty impressive the amount of liquidity that someone like 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏 can bring to this platform, which I love. And I do think this accrues towards a future airdrop, as well as getting you qualified for the Hyper EVM side of the upcoming Hyperliquid airdrop. So those are the two protocols I'm farming right now, the pools that I've allocated in as well, to make sure that I'm early and positioned for the big upside on the early side of these platforms where the rewards are going to be the largest. So guys, like the video down below and subscribe to the channel for more. Tomorrow I have a big video planned going over, yes, the gaming niche, but also the coins that I would still feel safe and comfortable sitting in a smaller side of my portfolio in a market where gaming is just beat to shreds as far as sentiment. So you don't want to miss that video. We'll also do a general market overview and go over more than just gaming, but I do want to specify on the gaming coins that I do still hold. So guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel down below. Let me know if you're farming either of these platforms, if you're excited for the Blackhole launch. If you're not, I would love to hear it in the comment section down below. And I'll see y'all on the next one. As always, play well, my friends. And of course, stay bullish, my friends.